Welcome to the Rich Report, a podcast with news and information on high-performance computing. Today, my guest is from Silicon Mechanics. We have Art Mann. Art is the Education Research and Government Manager at the company. Art, welcome to the show today.
Thank you, Rich. Good to be meeting you here.
Well, great, Art. You know, I've seen you guys around the show floor at SC and other places, but I thought we could get acquainted today. And, well, why don't we just start at the beginning? Why don't you tell us about who Silicon Mechanics is and who you help?
Sure. Silicon Mechanics, we're a leading integrator of rack-mount servers, storage solutions, and high-performance computing. We're based in a suburb of Seattle called Bothell, Washington. We were founded in 2001 with in the world to go to a website, configure systems easily, very open environment, so showing people pricing right from the very beginning, so not making it a salesy kind of thing, that is you had to contact a salesperson to get a price. You know, you weren't getting pulled into that. So the original founders of the company were very much wanting to be very open and honest, and just created tools so that people could come to the website, and it's still that way to today, to do configurations very easily. And if you want to get help from us, from a technical person or a salesperson, it's up to the customer to decide that. It's not like we create a wall and make them come to us to do something. So again, we tend to make things very easy, open, and honest. And we've just continued to do that and grow the business over the years. And that's why you've seen us at SC. It became a newer market for us a few years ago in terms of high-performance computing. And showing it at SC was just a major step forward for us to do that, to let others know.
Well, terrific. Well, Art, I brought your slides up. Why don't you tell us more about the Research Cluster Grant? Sure.
So this is something we're really proud of. I mean, we had been talking about this for several years. And, you know, we're a relatively small company. We're not, you know, one of the big tier ones, as they're called, you know, the multi-billion-dollar computer companies who are known for donating millions of dollars of computing to universities. It seems like sometimes a drop in the bucket for what they're able to do. I mean, being a small company, we started to talk about what could we do for the research community, the education community. I've been working in this space for many years, and I see it as a way of how do we give back to education. You know, we always hear about funding is not there, and we know that obtaining research grants is less than a 10% chance of being awarded a grant through NSF or NIH funding agencies. So we saw this as a way of, could we do something, because education is a big part of our business, as a way of giving back to that community. I'll also say, because you know, I'm not going to be naive about it, in that we also saw it as a way for us to get some mind share, that is, to show people that we are trying to do things for the community. You know, we're not doing it in a way that, okay, if we donate a cluster, that we're going to get a sale out of it. But we did want to look at it as a way that people would see us as somebody in the industry that cares about others who are also trying to do research, and saw that we had that community support, so to speak. Hope that helps. The grant itself is an award of technology. It's frequently asked for giving cash, you know, donations. Like, you know, many grants are just dollars, and this is just of a what's called a technology grant. It's a complete high-performance computing cluster. It's AMD Opteron based with the latest 6300 series processors. It has the latest NVIDIA Tesla GPUs. We're using fast InfiniBand and gigabit networking. It's just a completely built-out cluster with bright computing software to manage it. The partners have really come together to help us put together basically a turnkey operating cluster right from the beginning. So the grant program, as we did it last year, was only open to institutions in the U.S. and Canada, and also federal labs that are affiliated with universities, of which several are. And part of the reason we did that is we wanted this to be successful for the end user and for us, so that should there be a problem later on with any of the hardware, we could easily obtain parts and support them and be there for that customer. So, we thought about opening it up to South America and other parts of the world, but we just started to get into support issues that we didn't think would be good for everybody. From the perspective, one of the questions that comes up a lot when I'm talking to PIs, that is principal investigators, those that are doing research grants, about this grant, they're wanting to know about how are we making a decision as to who should be awarded the grant. And for us as technology companies, us Silicon Mechanics, AMD, NVIDIA, Bright, the others that are also partners, it's the use of the technology that's paramount. And I'd say somewhat over the science itself. That is, if somebody came forward with a proposal and said they're going to cure cancer, and somebody came forward and also said they're going to cure AIDS, we weren't going to make that judgment about one being better than the other. It's more of, because we can't make that decision. We couldn't take that responsibility. We couldn't make that decision. We were more interested in who could take the best use of this technology to improve their research, their effect on society, their institution, their department, but just who could, again, taking the best use of the technology to further their efforts. There's further Q&A on our website, and the website talks about that at www.researchclustergrant.com. There's additional Q&A there. What we also wanted to do, because we know from experience that typical grant processes are huge. I mean, they're hundreds of pages. The biographies for some of these are, just for an individual, can be 5 to 10 to 20 pages. We're only looking for a grant that's about 5 pages at maximum. And the reason for that is we wanted to make this relatively simple compared to the normal grant process, and also having a greater reach to people, so that maybe a graduate student, somebody going to a postdoc, anybody in an educational facility could have the time desired to put forth a proposal. Typically, it's PIs that are managing this. We're hoping that making it short would allow others to also participate. The deadlines are pretty straightforward. We're accepting applications through the beginning of February 1st, and we're hoping by March 1st or before to actually make the announcement of this year's winner. Last year's winner for 2012 went to St. Louis University. And what really struck us about their proposal is, one, we would not, they're not the top tier research institution. They're not well known as in that group. They're not a Harvard or Stanford or Berkeley or University of North Carolina, but they still do research. And what really impressed us was that they, through their information technology organization, through their CIO, they formed a group of approximately 6 departments. I think it's now up to 8 who are using the cluster, but at that time it was 6 departments, who came together and talked about how cross-functionally, cross-departmentally, this could influence their work. And I was very impressed when I first saw digital theology. And even though I've worked with linguistics departments over the years in research, analyzing words, for example, it didn't hit me that digital theology had the same needs. So to see them involved with this, along with the normal hard sciences, was quite impressive. And we know from experience through interviews we've done there that they're already making quite good use of the cluster. So we're envisioning for this year, even though collaboration across departments is not a requirement, we just like that ability. And collaboration could be between departments, between schools. It's wide open. Again, it comes down back to that idea of who could take the most take the most advantage of this technology to further knowledge, to further research, to impact more people, both within the university and possibly outside of the university situation.
Well, terrific, Art. So, I'm curious about this cluster you've built. So, it's, what drove the configuration, right? I mean, you have that rack there. You could have put just about any set of components in there. Well, what was the sweet spot you were trying to hit?
What we've looked at is we've done quite a few clusters over the years, And our sweet spot, so to speak, is in the, let's call it, work group or departmental size cluster environment. As a company, we're not going after the large, multi, $1 million clusters that fill up a room. That's just not our forte. We don't have the experience to do something like that. So for us, clusters of this size are exactly what we sell over and over again. And when we've also, a related activity that happened at SC is for the past 2 years, we've had a team sponsored at the student cluster competition. Last year in 2011, it was Boston University, and then this year was the Massachusetts Green High Performance Computing Consortium, of which Boston University is a member. And they also had a need for a cluster along the same size. So it had us thinking of something specific for their use. And then also, it's like, as we built that out and saw approximately what it cost and what it entailed to build it, it's like, well, couldn't we do one just like that and actually donate it? And so that's what, gave us some of the impetus to develop, this particular size cluster.
Well, great. And is that really, as far as your target market, are you working a lot in the university space, or do you have industrial customers as well?
So my focus for my team, and there's several of us on my team, we're focused on education, research, and government. There's an entire other separate team that's focused on the commercial side, and they work with commercial enterprises. So companies that are, and I can't name those companies, but involved with oil and gas and the financial community, and more private research in the biomedical field. So that we do things there as well, and very similar needs. Even though I would say that always the education, research, government space tend to be the early adopters. They're more risk-taking because that's what they're there to do, is research. So they take more chances. They try new technologies. It's quite often we're providing technologies that may not even be officially out in the market yet for these people to try, and then the commercial side follows. Once these technologies have been proven, it's very likely the commercial side will start to use it.
And then as far as your customers go, do you find that many of them were more like cobbling these things together themselves in the past, and they're looking for more of a turnkey, and you guys can step in with that solution, or what does that look like?
So we definitely can do turnkey clusters. What's interesting is it depends on, of course, the institution, the company. A lot of people did this on their own originally and found out it became too much of an investment. They may be good at the research, the work, the science that they're doing, but building computers was something they could do, but it really wasn't, their core competency. And I think a lot of people have found over time that they'd be better off having somebody like us come in who does this all day long, knows how to build a server or design a server, build a server, support a server, and help them, and it actually is more cost effective for them to do it that way. So, as much as technology has become simpler in many ways, just the time to build a server and the time to fix something should it ever happen, it's you always want to have a trusted advisor, somebody who knows more about the parts, pieces, and the technology, and that's what we can be to our customers.
Well, terrific, Art. I guess, just to wrap up here, I guess we should just review how do these institutions apply, and when do they need to get it done?
So the best way to apply is to go to our Silicon Mechanics website. If they went to our main page, it would just be siliconmechanics.com. They could go to the specific page that has the research cluster grant information. They can always email me. Again, my name is Art Mann. My email will be on the slide, but it's artm@siliconmechanics.com. They can download what we call the application package there. It's just a Word doc that has the questions and some Q&A and some background information on the grant process. And they can just, somewhere prior to February 1st, upload it back to our system. And that's it. We're trying to make it relatively painless and simple.
Well, terrific. Well, Art, I want to thank you once again for coming on the show today.
Well, thank you very much, Rich. It was very good to do this.
You bet. Okay, folks, that's it for the Rich Report. Stay tuned for more news and information on high-performance computing.